All right. I might have dropped out of college 3 years deep in that bitch. Yeah, I might have done that recently. So what led me to this decision? Well, I can tell you partially it's just because I'm insane. So there you go. There's a good explanation if you don't want to stay for the video. But if you want the deeper answer, I just feel I hate it, bro. Everything I've done in my life has felt meaningless. It feels like everything I have ever built, everything I've ever worked towards was constructed by someone else. Was the narrative someone else pushed on me to be, right? When I never even signed up to be born, bro. There's no button that you get to press to choose to be alive, right? So my mother chose to bring me into this world. And then it's like everybody has preconceived notions of what you're supposed to be when you didn't even get a fucking option to be here, bro. Makes absolutely no sense. The illusion of free will is crazy. Okay, anyways, going off on a tangent a little bit. It just all feels so meaningless. I'm 3 years into my data analytics degree, or was, and I'm just so fed up, and you can say it's senioritis, you can say it's whatever, but I just don't give a shit, man. I don't give a shit about anything. I'm going to go work for a company I don't give a shit about. I'm going to work for somebody else, and I'm never going to create anything. I'm never going to make anything meaningful. And, I worked at Starbucks part-time, or full-time, sorry, during the summer for a little bit. And my God, is it draining. You don't have time to create anything. You don't have time or the money to do anything you want because you're working your life away for some company that doesn't give a shit about you. And it's the tale as old as time. Yeah, that's just the way life is. But I would almost rather, no, not even almost. I would rather fucking die than live in this world that way. And I told my mom that the other day, and well, she didn't take it very well. And partially I think it's just because she grew up thinking that hard work will get you, what you want. But I see a lot of people working harder than anyone I know, and, they're working 2 jobs to get by. So I don't really buy into that narrative, and I don't think you should either. Hard work just gets you more work, in my opinion. And I'm not even against suffering, right? I'm not. But you have to be suffering for a reason. Okay, all these gurus are going to tell you, well, you just need to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps and work harder and grind set. Do this, do that. Self-improvement journey. No, bro. No, you don't need to just... It's almost like they're just filling their time with mindless tasks and suffering so they don't actually have to self-actualize. And they don't actually have to think about the deeper stuff. Because maybe that's tougher than just, I don't know, lifting weights all day. I go to the gym every now and then. Let's talk about why we're fucking here. Or let's talk about how broken this system is. I don't know. But that takes an education. And that takes some introspective. And you might have to think about things you believed in the past. You might have to change your ideas. Okay. I'm yapping too much, and I'm sure there's a certain group of people that are mad at me at this point, but I digress. I just want to feel meaningful. And, to say that money isn't a factor, it would be a lie. You need money to live, and the more money you have, the more comfortable you are. And the more comfortable you are, the more things you get to do that you want. So, money is a factor, but it's it doesn't matter how much money you have if you don't have any time. So it's you either have money and no time, or you have time and no money. And right now in my life, I'd rather have time and no money. I'll live off fucking cup ramen if that means I get to create something. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm special in any way. I'm not that good at fucking art. I'm not that good at music. I'm not really that good at anything. But you know what? I think humanity just needs to create and stop consuming so much. And it's like, even me saying that sounds performative because, you know, I get these ideas from other people and other things, but it's true. We have to stop fucking scrolling on our phones all day. Turn this goddamn video off after you watch it and go fucking make something. I don't know. Or go do something you've dreamed of. Like, what's the point of living if we can't do meaningful things? And you can tell there's a level of frustration, and I'm being scatterbrained right now. But I just don't know, man. I don't know. So what am I going to do? I want to create things. You know how I make my income right now? I play fucking Magic the Gathering online and resell Magic cards online. I love Magic the Gathering. I play it all the time. I like consistently do very well in tournaments and stuff, right? I win boxes online and I resell them. It's not very much money, but it gets me by. And it's like, I would rather do that than do the narrative everybody has sold to me. You know, I feel like my mom especially just expected me to, you know, go to college, get a nice job, and work until my retirement. And it's like, I just don't give a shit anymore, man. It's almost like when you start to let go of your own life, and I'm not suicidal, okay? So don't take this video down. I'm not. I don't want to die. But when you start to not care as much about your own life, it's almost like it frees you up to actually do what you want. Because if you're like, I don't really care, or maybe it's more that you don't care what other people think of you, right? Because when you don't care what other people think of you, and it's the same thing. You don't care. When you don't care anymore, you can actually start to do whatever you want. It's freeing in a way. It's depressing, and it's anxiety inducing, and it's terrifying, but at least you can really start to figure out what you want to be. At least you can start to figure out what you want to be. And I think that's something we've lost. We've kind of lost the narrative. You know, performative is kind of a buzzword, but it's the truth. Things are so performative nowadays, and they're for other people, and I'm just exhausted by it all. I really am. I mean, I'm worn down, man. I just want to create something. And, you know, I have friends that are on both sides. I have friends who are graduating college right now, and they just want to make money. They want that money. And you know what? That's completely valid. And most of them, I will say, most of them that are going to graduate college and they just care about money came from a higher class than, you know, a higher middle class, I would say. So it's kind of interesting. It's almost like, you know, they've always had money. They don't want to experience the idea of not having it. And maybe some of that comes from pressure from their parents or friends or whatever that may be. But it is kind of interesting to just note that. Now there's a dog barking in the background, which is great. And then I have friends who have no fucking clue what they want to do, and they just want to do something meaningful with their life, right? I don't even know what to tell everybody. I don't know what to tell everybody. I was working at Starbucks, right? Going back to this. I had more than one coworker that was my age that was working multiple jobs just to get by. Just to get by. Not to, you know, not to have extra money to go on vacation, just to get by. They're working more than 40 hours a week. How do you escape? How do you escape from that spot when you have no one to rely on? Right? The only thing I can think of is to go and take out a fucking loan. Interesting. It's almost like America was set up that way to keep people in debt. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. No, it's pretty obvious. Pretty obvious. Set up to keep people in debt. And if you ask me, college is nothing but a way to separate the wealth gap even further. And you can say, he's just a dropout. That's why he's saying that. I don't know. Why isn't education free? I'm sure more people would go to college if it was free. You know, we have enough tax dollars. We could probably make it happen. I'm sorry. I don't know. maybe I'm getting too much into politics or whatever, but I just don't give a shit. It's my fucking channel and I can yap about whatever I want, and hopefully it brings someone comfort a little bit. I have no clue what I'm going to do, but I know I'm going to create something. Mark my fucking words, I will create something. You know, and then I'm just creating, I'm speaking words into existence right now, and it's not like it's meaningful or insightful or anything like that, but at least I'm doing it. And this is kind of just my therapy, honestly. I just need to fucking rant and maybe someone will listen. I just want my life to have meaning, man. I really do. I think that starts with creation, though, for me. We'll see.